Hey, hello, bright and shiny beacon of light. Michael here, your host on Inspire Nation, along with Ms. Jessica Lee, who is working on getting getting her laptop, aka my laptop, aka dinosaur, aka slowboat, up to speed. Oh, you're here! Woohoo! So yes, as Laura Gibson pointed out, today is 9/11, which means it's our anniversary of our loading of the show.
Oh.
3 years ago today. You made the title.
I know.
So 3 years ago today, we wanted to bring some light to the world. And so we loaded our show on 9/11 after recording all summer. We'll tell you more about that in a moment. And it takes about 3 days for iTunes to get things live. And we went first on audio before video. And we had looked on the Chinese calendar. And according to your dad, 9/14, which is when the show officially went live, was a very auspicious day. It was also great in the Farmer's Almanac, a great day for planting, a great day for planting seeds and growing things. And so we wanted to grow the greatest show in the world. Just, help raise consciousness, elevate humanity, and help people to shine bright. And so we loaded on 9/11, 3 years ago. What I want to share with you is a little bit about our story, a little bit about how we got here, about how we started Inspire Nation, all the law of attraction goodness that took place, all the miracles that took place. And first off, before we launched Inspire Nation, where were we, Jessica?
New Jersey.
We were in New Jersey. And why were we in New Jersey?
We were living with my parents.
We were living with your parents. And where exactly were we living with your parents?
In my childhood bedroom.
In your childhood bedroom on how many different mattresses?
2.
2 mattresses, of course, when you're in the in-laws' bedroom or parent house. Yes. So why were we there?
The mattresses were next to each other.
They were next to each other.
It wasn't like a bunk bed.
No, it wasn't like a bunk bed.
So that would have been fun.
So why were we in your childhood, I don't know, I'll exaggerate and say 8 by 10 bedroom, but it couldn't have been much bigger than that.
Well, prior to moving to New Jersey, we lived on Maui, and I got sick, and a whole bunch of things went spiraling downward, and we basically got spit out by Maui, and we needed a place for me to heal.
And a place for you to heal, a place for us to lick our wounds, a place for us to figure out what in the world are we going to do? Because, we've talked about it on a lot of shows, so we don't have to belabor the point, but we were wounded on every single way. And
pretty much.
And limping quite literally, trying to figure out what to do. And we got back to New Jersey, though, and I got the talk.
You got many talks.
I got many talks. But her dad, actually her parents, sat me down and said, do you want to teach at the elementary school? Do you want to teach at the high school? It's time to give up your dreams and get to work.
But they recognized your amazing ability to teach.
Thank you. I love how you put that. You're a hopeful optimist, always searching for that bright light. And actually, they were the bright light because after a lot of soul searching, we told them we wanted to start a show. And we're going to talk about how we came about that. And they gave us 6 months to get it off the ground. And here we are.
Well, not off the ground. They gave us 6 months to make it
viable, to bring in
financially
income.
Sustainable,
yes.
Self-sustainable.
I guess that's what I mean by off the ground, is we had 6 months to show them the bacon. And so during that summer, Jessica's in and out of bed. You're kind of brain foggy, but you're starting to come back online. We're trying to figure out what to do. And I realized that we have to not follow the cheese, because that's an interesting book or two. We have to follow the excitement, the interest, the passion, the energy.
Right. In order to make it sustainable and less drain damage.
Drain damage. Another well put. A Michaelism, for that matter. So, and where had the energy been before we left Maui?
In lots of areas that crushed me.
So what she's saying is we built this amazing, beautiful program, mindful running program. You can check it out, mindfulrunning.org. And we recorded a few videos that were supposed to be like promo videos or interviews with experts in running and mindfulness and meditation, all these areas. And we were supposed to record, I think, 3 or 4 of them. And I had so much fun. Can you imagine me having fun doing interviews? I had so much fun doing interviews that I did interview after interview after interview after interview, and literally somewhere over 40 interviews before you were screaming,
"Stop, please stop."
Because she had to edit all of these beautiful interviews. Fast forward to being back in New Jersey, or being in New Jersey, and we're going, what do we do? And we're going, and I'm going, those interviews were fun. Those were a lot of fun. They were really pro. They were very helpful for people.
You were naturally good at it.
Which I had no idea about. I had never done it before.
And at that point, you had some trouble tooting your own horn, and you actually liked that you got to make your guest shine bright instead of promoting yourself. So you were like having a lot of fun helping out these other people promote themselves.
It's a good point that you make. It's a very good point you make. And so I figured, and I think we figured, okay, maybe a show is the way to go. What do we do from here? And that's where I think we put on our thinking caps rather than our heart caps, so to speak. And I remember talking with CJ Liu, Fired Up with CJ, our regular co-host, and going, and she's going, maybe it should be a healing show or a health show
or a running show.
And
how did those make you feel?
Or even a learning disability show. I can't say those things on air. The best I can describe it is eek. It just felt wrong. So wrong. And the key is felt wrong. Here's what my thought process was going on. When we did our barefoot running tour, over 100 cities in the US, plus a little bit of Southeast Asia, I always wanted to bring in backdoor spirituality. Both of us did. More of the how to change your life rather than how to get out of your shoes. And so the concern was, well, if we make a health show, I want to talk to people about meditation and changing their lives. If we make a learning disability show, I really want to talk with people about meditation things and changing their lives. If we make a show on XYZ, at the end of the day, I want to talk with people about how to get inspired, how to find their life purpose, path, and direction, how to take a journey on the inside, how to elevate their consciousness, raise their vibration. And so at the end of the day, I wanted to do all these things when I grow up, and I had to start a different show than I wanted to try to get to that place, and that didn't feel right.
Yeah, it's like going this way to go that way.
Bingo, which we had done several times in the past. And so I was thinking or feeling, and I believe we had these discussions, why not just do what we've done so well in the past, which is jump the ladder? Don't take that intermediary step. Go for it. Assume that if you step off of the cliff, the invisible bridge will be there to carry you, because that's where we have the energy. And energy trumps ideas. Energy trumps the greatest idea in the world, because the greatest idea in the world is only great till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning when you're exhausted and you want to get to sleep and you still have a ton of work to do. If it's a great idea, but it's not your heart, not your passion, you're going to sleep. If it's your heart or your passion, has happened with me for consistently a couple months straight, you may cry yourself before you get to sleep, but you'll get the job done because you are on fire. You feel on track. And so we were talking about where we go with this, and we had these discussions. I don't remember what ideas I came up with for names. You came up with Inspire Nation. And do you remember my initial thoughts about it?
No, I don't.
I'm guessing I thought it was too big or too generic or cast too large of a net. And then I went and I did what, we didn't even have a car when we got to New Jersey. It was a couple months before we were gifted the use of a car.
No, well, we had a car, but it wasn't running.
Well, we had the car that we drive now, but you're right. We didn't have plates for it or it titled because of state changes and being out of state with Maui. And it took us a good 6 months to get that.
Frankly, we also didn't have the budget to pay for registration.
We didn't. I mean,
and insurance and whatever else.
None of that. And so I wanted to go play in nature and hear what nature had to say. And the most I could often do was just go walk along the side of a busy highway where there were woods to one side of me, but I could hear crickets. And when I would tune into the crickets, and literally Inspire Nation came out of that, I could block out the noise of the roads.
The irony
of tuning into crickets?
Well, you know, if nobody's listening, then you hear crickets.
You hear cricket. Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. And so I was tuning into the crickets and having conversations with the crickets. And after a couple of weeks, I came to the conclusion, as what is it? Jen Sincero would say, big, fat, hairy, audacious, something like that, that this was a big, fat, hairy, audacious name and was perfect for us.
Well, I've never known you to think small, so.
No, there is that. But I wanted to make sure whatever we did worked as best as I could. And so I wanted to make sure, like, we had to think of what our avatar is. An avatar is who's our audience.
Right.
And
I thought, well, if we want to make this sustainable, we better make it interesting for us.
Bingo.
So we became the avatar, and whatever interests us would be interesting to our audience.
Exactly. which is why, you know, among the first guests that I reached out to is, you know, Fred Allen Wolf and Amika Swami, you know, all these people geeking out on quantum mechanics. I thought
everybody
was really cool.
from What the Bleep and The Secret.
Yeah. And when we, so if I guess I fast forward, so we say we're going to do this and we look up how to do this well. And so we did put some planning into it, which is a summer of recording so then we can release. This is really a good how-to video. If you want to launch a podcast, we did a summer of recording so that we'd have a huge reservoir of shows for when we start going after the new and noteworthy category on iTunes. And so I recorded all summer. And what's interesting is at the beginning, I knew nothing. And I boffed several interviews. Fred's made it through. A dear friend of ours, Robert Mirabal, two-time Grammy Award-winning musician. The end of his video was unusable, or audio was unusable,
I think we were on old computers, too.
We were on old computers. We were using a regular Zoom mic with this bulbous thing right in front of my mouth.
Yeah.
It kind of dangled down, like right here.
If you look at the videos, you can only see half of Michael's face because there's this big...
this big thing in front of me.
Fuzzy microphone in front of him.
And so we had to gain efficiency, which comes from doing it. And one of the things I love about starting the show is, speaking about our mindful running program, we were perfectionists, weren't we?
Yeah, we dropped that quickly. I didn't have the energy. I was like sleeping half of the day. So
and I had said I don't know how to record, or I don't know how to edit audio. And you had been editing on everything on Maui. And so you said to me,
I said, I refuse to learn the audio software program.
But then she not only refused to learn it, but she refused to let me use the crappy, simple, easy, non-pro software.
Well, because I saw you running into problems already.
And so she challenged me, I think like on a day's notice for having to get things uploaded. She challenged me to learn Adobe Audition. And I was saying, I'm a this, I'm a that. I'm not good with software. I'm not good with learning Adobe, blah, blah, blah. But let me tell you, when you're on fire.
You have a degree in computer science.
I do. So a computer information systems.
Oh, okay.
So which actually maybe is even better suited to the lay person software. But I raised myself to the task, or however we put that.
I wouldn't call it a challenge. I think I commanded you.
Okay. I was commanded. I did it. And then I built a routine in place that summer of how you read a book, how you get an interview done. I was doing 2 interviews a day. I don't even know how I was doing it. I think 3 was the max I was doing in a day.
Yeah, I guess when you're living with the in-laws.
My God, did they have a fire under my butt? And you got to understand, short Chinese.
He's not short. Okay, he shrank a little bit, but he wasn't short when I was growing up.
All right. Let's just put it this way. Old school, amazing Chinese immigrant Tai Chi master father who could take me and go like and crush me in 2 if he wanted to, and was known for taking me out to the car every now and again and sitting me down in the car and locking the doors and say, well, Michael, we need to talk.
Yes. I would be in the house looking out the window going, Mom, why are Michael and Dad sitting in the car again?
So he was scary. And so I did the work. So we put things into routine. We recorded over the summer. I was doing a lot of writing in it. I don't know if I was specifically in automatic writing at this point, but I was journaling. I'm writing about it. I'm doing hypnagogic work. So work before I go to sleep at night, imagining the show working out, imagining the interviews working out. You wouldn't believe how nervous I was before interviews.
Every single one. I thought you still get nervous, no?
I still get nervous, but not nervous like I got
now
before.
It's more like excitement.
So yeah,
right?
And I know we're now 900, almost 950 shows in. I know that whatever comes up, this is not out of cockiness, whatever comes up, we'll find a way to get through it when we're on air.
Because it's already happened.
Most of it. You never know. But very confident on the mic now. Had a lot of, you talk about the 10,000 hour rule. I've had a lot of time to be honing this craft. Mm-hmm. So we built it over the summer. 9/11, we weren't, I think we actually delayed the release. I was embarrassed to get back in touch with people who we recorded months earlier. And then finally it was time to release. We look up the dates. 9/11 seemed perfect to do this. We flipped the switch live and Gary, would anybody be listening?
Oh.
And they did. And we became, within the first month, we probably hit #1 in one of the new and noteworthy categories. We're #1 in several categories within that 2-month period. Mm-hmm. And we started at first, I was literally 2 o'clock in the morning, still editing, almost in tears because I like to sleep early. I love to sleep early, which is why we made the magical evening routine, magical morning routine, is to help you by front loading your day. And I could not. I was chasing my tail for 2 months straight. But I hung in there. I started to get a little bit more efficient. During that time, we're reaching out to a lot of guests. It's interesting. In the beginning, 1 out of 20 guests would say yes. It's crazy. And now I would say, 7, 8, 9 out of 10 say yes, if you can get to them. Sometimes it's hard to figure out the way around the firewall, how much that shifted. What did you see in those early days?
To be honest, a lot of it's a blur because I still had a lot of brain fog. Mm-hmm. I remember going to sleep before you every single night. Yeah. I didn't feel like, I don't remember you being really stressed out, surprisingly.
I was completely wiped out, exhausted, but I felt on path.
Yeah.
I felt, I didn't feel like, we're all looking for this purpose, path, or direction. I didn't feel like, God came down from the mountain or there was a burning bush and said, thou shalt do a podcast. This is your job for life. But I felt energetically, this feels right. This can make a difference for others. This is our path. This is our vehicle. Let's run with this thing. And I didn't know what else to do, but it felt right.
It was taking all of your greatest skills mm-hmm. and putting them into this one project.
Yeah, into that one genie in a bottle. And so we come to 6 months. I can't believe I'm sharing this, but I shared this a little bit with CJ. We're 6 months in. We meet with the fam. And we're supposed to have all this money rolling in hand over fist. I had talked about how we'd get sponsors for the show and advertisement and patron page and all this good stuff.
It was all guessing. There was no way to know where the money would come from.
Yeah. And at the end of 6 months, we were, I think the official term was bubkiss. There was no income coming in. And one of the things that I had done was, on Maui, I had shut off my coaching to focus on building stuff. And here I am 6 months in with a voice reaching the world. We were probably in about 100 countries at that point. And I'm not offering coaching to people. I'm saying I can only do one thing at a time. I can either run a show or I can make money, but I can't do both.
Ah, I remember that.
What were you thinking about that one?
It's not going to cut it with my parents.
No. And what did Mom say?
She said, and she was like around 70 at the time, still working. She said, what do I have to do? Get a second job?
When your mother-in-law, who's over 70, tells you she's going to need to get a second job to support you and your hobby of a show.
It was a hobby at the time.
You find a way to make money fast. And so we flipped back on coaching. And I said, I have no idea how in the world I'm going to be able to balance coaching and the show. And we did. And each piece we've done moving forward, I have said, I have no idea how we're going to do X, Y, or Z, but we are. The YouTube show that you're listening to now is over 50,000 listeners, 50,000 subscribers. And I'm sure when you started it, you were going, I have no idea how I'm going to do a YouTube show. Did you?
You know, I didn't even think about that. I think everything we've done since we've gotten together has started with, I have no idea how we're going to do this. I have no idea how to build a web page. I have no idea how we're going to self-publish a book. I have no idea how we're going to sell the rights to the book. You just step forward.
There's something really cool about that, about the I have no idea, because we were talking with Nancy Levin, author of Worthy and several other very special books. We were talking with her. We sat down with her for dinner with her last week, because for 2 more weeks, she's in this town. And I'm hopeful for dinner this Friday. But with that said, oh my, where were we going with this? I can't believe I just lost my train of thought when I was thinking of having Nancy, of being with Nancy Levin for dinner. And we were talking about how we had no idea to do any of these pieces of the puzzle. I don't know. That's rare.
We had no idea. We just stepped forward.
We just stepped forward, one step in front of the other.
When we trusted we would figure out each step.
Yeah.
Because you can learn everything from Google and YouTube. And if not, then there's somebody who knows.
Yep. And it didn't have to be perfect along the way. You just had to keep putting that one foot in front of the other.
What is it like? I don't know if you have recently, but maybe you have. Have you listened to an older show? Like one of the first ones you've recorded?
Last I listened to one of the first shows was probably a good year ago, and I was cringing and wanting to hide under the table.
You don't want to listen to them, right?
No. but I did say this recently. My brain's still scanning for what the point was with Nancy. I did say this recently, which is while I cringe at those early shows, they were perfect for what they were. They were perfect for launching. They were perfect for growing the audience. Yes, we can improve. And I believe where we are today is only fractional to where we're going with things. Things will change over time, but we're perfect just where we are right now.
Yeah. And when we started this YouTube Live, actually it was a Facebook Live, and we kept having issues getting Facebook Lives going.
Oh my God, we did.
Like, stumbling block after stumbling block. We would try and go live. It would crash. We'd have to give up for the night. People would be waiting. We wouldn't show up. And then we moved here and we started trying to get YouTube Live going again. We tried going outside. We tried using your computer in front of the green screen. The green screen wouldn't work. And yeah, lots of crash and burns.
What I'm so tickled pink is I'm looking across from you.
Oh yeah, I wasn't in them.
And you're speaking with me. You're in the YouTube Live and you're able to speak and speak great. And there's good English, but
speak good.
You speak good. Better than saying you speak long time. Please forgive me.
Wasn't that like racist?
That's why I said, please forgive me. Speak good. I know. I
don't even know what to say.
But the point is that it's evolved, it's morphed, it's changed. It didn't have to be any one thing. We weren't attached to an outcome. We weren't attached to a definition. This YouTube Live is still really new. I have no idea where it's going to go in the future. Someplace special is my guess. It will morph. It will change. We follow the energy trail and just see where it takes us.
And you learn not to use racist remarks.
Yeah.
Because you can't edit.
I never hear the end of this one. And I don't have a racist, hair in my head. But there's no taking it back now, is there? So with that said, what else did I want to cover? So we got the coaching going. Each program has worked out over time. Okay, so what do I want to say? I did a lot of prayer during this time. I don't know about you. I did a lot of prayer, a lot of soul searching, a lot of automatic writing, tons and tons of Think and Grow Rich, writing out statements to myself, programming into my subconscious, and was using every tool that I could think of because, frankly, I was running scared the whole time. To me, I had a clock that was your parents' clock ticking, that if I didn't get this thing off by a certain date, it was shutdown time.
It was time to become a school teacher.
It was time to become a school teacher. It's pretty awesome.
They're amazing.
So extremely underpaid,
yes,
undervalued, extremely necessary, and my heart goes out. For me, having done interviews, it felt like that was more the direction for me to go in. But I had that clock ticking. And so it's interesting when somebody says, I want to follow my passion, purpose, or direction, or I want to find it. I think it is helpful to have a little bit of a fire under your butt. I think it actually gets you going.
Well, sometimes the universe gives you those opportunities. They don't seem like opportunities. But like me going down and getting sick, that forced me to reevaluate what my worth was. Because until that point, it was productivity. It was just like my ability to work and do, and drive myself into the ground. And that's what made me feel like I was worth living or worth love from somebody else.
Yeah.
And getting sick, I couldn't be productive anymore. So I had to discover that my worth is based on just being. I don't have to do anything to prove my worth.
No, you don't. And so when those web pages aren't live and I'm going, do you have a web page? You can be, my worth is good. My worth is solid. I need my web page. So do we want to take people forward in the story or just talk about the end of the story right now, which is we're 3 years in. We're 940 some odd shows, every single country worldwide. Football stadium, soccer stadium, many stadiums worth of people every single day now. And it's just been, it hasn't been easy for anybody who thinks, oh, I'll follow Michael and Jessica, I'll find my passion and just all the doors will open and everything will be, I always use the term Shangri-La, though we looked up Shangri-La and Shangri-La isn't even Shangri-La. But, you know, everything will be, as Tosha Silver said earlier today, puppies and rainbows. Doesn't quite work that way, does it?
I think it's all about your perspective, though. I think the further along we've gone on this path, the more it does become more puppies and more rainbows. It's not puppies and rainbows all the time. It's like hummingbirds and rainbows all the time. No, you get what I'm saying?
Yes. No, it's so true because you have a perspective, and I was talking with this, maybe with Tosha, definitely with a coaching client afterwards, that what appear to be stumbling blocks in the moment. Oh my God, I've got to learn software. She's not going to let me use, what is it, Audacity or something like that. How I'm going to do this become a great gift because not only, whoa there, Bubba.
Here's a great gift.
This is a great gift, but we're not going to have you stand on the keyboard during a YouTube live. But all of those things that in the moment seemed really difficult were really, every single one of them, beautiful steering. In fact, if I go back to Maui, had mindful running really taken off,
you'd still be a running coach.
Had we gotten we got an amazing deal with barefoot running and barefoot walking, but had that been more successful,
you would have been the barefoot running guy.
And there's a lot more than bare feet.
With a lot of fans who have foot fetishes. Not that there's anything wrong with foot fetishes, but that's not really our thing.
No, I won't go there on the videos. But
well, like I would get all these friend requests, and for a profile picture, all I would see are like dirty bare feet, not like a person's face.
Yeah.
But dirty bare feet would be asking me to be friends.
Where do we even go with that? The point being, had things, quote, worked out, then they wouldn't have worked out. Everything works out. Everything is on path. Everything is on purpose. But we learned is that the doors that close and those painful moments. Do you remember we came back from Southeast Asia to Christmas, to celebrate Christmas with amazing book sales, only to find out
0.
they'd stopped due to something to do with the Amazon system, and we won't even go there. Our sales had gone from, I don't know, a gazillion a month, much less than a gazillion, but to 0. And then here I am in the springtime going, anything but selling the books, anything in the world but selling the books.
Meaning selling the rights.
Yep. Which turned out to be the greatest thing. And then...
And I'm looking at our bank accounts. I'm going, Michael, we've got to sell the rights.
And that broke my heart. And then 4 years later, anything but moving back to New Jersey. Anything but moving to New Jersey. Which also turned out to be the absolute greatest gift in the world.
I actually enjoyed my time there.
I loved it. I loved it.
It was hard, especially for you living with my parents.
Yep.
Oh,
Kitty coming across.
Hi.
But special stuff came out of it. And so if we're talking about this anniversary, you're talking about the challenges, you're right. We now see these things more quickly for what they are. Not always right in that exact moment. There we go. But more quickly, we need more like studio lighting here for what they are. So anything else you want to cover before we open it up to questions for people? This is, I'm so glad we've been sharing this story, and I am so humbled. Humbled, is that the right word? I guess humbled for how far we've come.
Which, in that alone, is a really important thing to do. When you feel like you're on a plateau, you're not going anywhere, spend some time looking back a few years and see how far you've come.
Yeah. And time is so warped. I say it oftenly, we grossly overestimate what we can do in a day. We radically underestimate what we can do in a year or in several years. So in the beginning, we're stepping forward and I'm going, it's not going fast enough. It's not going fast enough. It's not going fast enough. And here we are 3 years later, and it's like, holy Moses, how far we've come.
And there's a reason why it doesn't go as fast as we want, because we probably wouldn't have been able to handle as much input as we're getting right now back then.
To me, the most important thing about having gone this slowly in quotes, slowly in quotes. Yeah, we're living in our dream home. We're in Colorado. We're more than well off financially, thanks to you, our listeners and viewers. And everything, yes, Meowsers. I'm not sure why you want to step on the keyboard during the live. But I know it's very exciting. Going slowly, Meowsers on my head, is that we, from a personal growth point of view, all the learnings that we've got, I don't think if things had taken off, we would have had, it's not even my terminology, an iota of time to do the inner work and work on ourselves. If things had been through the roof, if we had a syndicated show or who knows what.
Won the lottery, would we have known how to manage that money?
Well, we learned that with our book, with our book deal. We didn't spend a dime, not a dime on ourselves. We did not splurge. And yet 3 or 4 years after getting our big fat book deals, or books deal, here we were completely leveled because we hadn't done the inner work. This has been much more sustainable, is because we put one little piece in place and one little piece in place and one little piece in place. And I owe a lot to you for, like, we're launching our coaching program, or excuse me, our magical manifestation program. I'm combining
Manifestation Masterclass.
Thank you. Our Manifestation Masterclass, and we're launching a magical evening routine program after that. But you have been taking it very methodical, one small piece at a time. And you have learned so much about how to build something where our business is a lot more like rock climbing now. And not is it scrambling? Not scrambling. What do you call it when you climb out a rope?
Bouldering? Free climbing?
Bouldering, free climbing, any of those. See, we're not climbers here, although it's cool. which is we put a pin in the wall, we hammer it into place, we lock into that pin, and then we move in.
Well, first we make sure that our harness and our ropes are on properly.
We do. So what this means is if something doesn't work out, we're anchored well, rather than just throwing something out there and seeing what happens. Although we're still learning and we still don't, you never know what's going to happen with any one piece. Because we've built things slowly, there's no dramatic chance of a backslide, only a how quickly will we grow.
I think most importantly, we've learned that we need this to be solid and grounded before we build anything. And in the past, it was just like, who cares about this? Let's just get the project done because we're scared of what's going to happen if we don't.
In old Mike Lee's, go, go, go. And
I know.
There's a trail of stuff left behind you.
Yeah, yeah. It used to be like this mad race. And a lot of it was based on fear. Mm-hmm. And now it's not. Now it's I think we move from a confident, secure place.
Yeah. And that took time to build, but we were doing the inner work along the journey. We were doing automatic writing. We were doing the meditation. We were doing one of the things that you're looking forward to this week or next week, getting back to the gym to work on your strength inside and out. We're putting all the pieces in place. And then the business, the thing that we were trying to manifest, became an outward reflection of the work we were doing in the inside rather than vice versa.
Exactly. And we've seen when our energy is high, the show downloads or views go up.
Way.
When our energy is low for a week, for whatever reason, maybe we're having a lot of miscommunication or whatever, which doesn't happen as often.
Thank you.
But when it did, we would watch the show numbers go down.
Yeah, it's all about the energy. And so I guess that's a wrap up. And we will take some questions here. Is if you focus on the energy, that's the direction to go in. If you bring your highest energy, that's what's going to help you find success. If you work on the energy from the inside out, that's what gives you the foundation to grow everything.
Exactly. And it makes everything sustainable.
Yeah.
Because if you don't take care of this, eventually, like I found out, you crumble.
Well, we both had that habit. You may have inherited it from your mom, but I was probably the magnifier, which is you must drive yourself into the ground if you want to succeed. And while we work quite a few hours still on this, although we're doing better and better on this, I think the drive yourself into the ground approach, which is a very Western approach, is the exact opposite of sustainable.
Oh, there's a lot more balance now. I don't feel like I work too much. Mm-hmm. I feel like there are other pieces that I'd rather spend more time on.
Yeah.
But I don't feel overworked. I nap in the middle of the day.
I'm so jealous.
I'll stop and I'll practice heart coherence, which we've talked about in other episodes. We go out for a bike ride in the middle of the day.
Did that today.
We sit outside and have our meals with the hummingbirds. So, yeah, I'm pretty content, happy.
Woohoo! And I know while I would like those hours over time to come down, I have a graph in my head, which is of hours going down and people we reach going up.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to keep on focusing on that because there's a lot of self-discovery work, inner work, and travel to meet some really special people that I haven't allotted the resources for yet. I'm not going to say I don't have time. Time is a choice, and time is not what we not what we think it to be. But I haven't allotted that time yet, but it's coming. And so I also am comfortable and relaxed into it. Even when there's an occasional night, and I laugh when they happen, when something blows up and you've got to take an extra hour or two.
Yeah.
I'm like, universe, you trickster.
Well, when something like that happens, I just know that it's happening for a reason, even though I don't know what it is. I mean, it sounds so cliche, but I really get that now. I really believe it.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I had the most amazing automatic writing this morning on the difference between an opportunist and a woeist.
Huh.
And I mentioned that to you this morning. You're like, what's a woeist? And what I was getting out of automatic writing is that there are two types of people in this world. It's very black and white, which nothing's quite that clear. There are the people who are involved in a mishap, a challenge, something happens, and they see it as an opportunity. Wow, something great can come out of this. And then there are the people who are involved in a mishap or something, and they say, woe is me, poor me, why did this happen to me? And the person who comes home and is the opportunist and says, wow, you're never going to believe what happened today. I know something great is going to come of it. Their life goes in one direction. Their energy is in one direction. And the person who comes home and goes, oh my God, I was cut off again. I can't believe this happened. You won't believe what happened with my boss today. You can't believe what this. Their energy is going boom, 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 boom. And so that's the direction their life takes over time.
When your energy goes down like that, you kind of like put blinders on and you're like, you see tunnel vision. You don't see the opportunities. You don't see doors opening up. Bingo. They've done studies on this. And the opportunist is always looking for those opportunities. They're looking for the chance encounter with the person who knows the other person that you're supposed to meet that's going to whatever.
Exactly. And so I was getting a whole download, you could say, on it this morning. It was really beautiful. And I'm sure they were challenging me as I'm working and challenging others to be even more of the opportunist, to look even more for what are the positive behind these doors that may not appear that way. Although you're right, it's rare these days that anything, well, honestly, between you and me, we had a boo-boo in the parking lot yesterday. And I got the greatest hug out of it.
You did? Oh my gosh. Share a little bit about that.
I'm backing up the car. This is the same car that sat in New Jersey. This is the same car that's been with us since our first date. So
it's the first car I bought, actually.
And it's so cool, this little Suzuki SX4. And so we're backing up in this really tight little city parking lot. And I'm looking in my mirrors. I'm checking all my mirrors. And I hear a horn. I hit the brake. We bump. I couldn't tell you who bumped whom or what happened. All I know is horn, brake, bump. That's as far as I know. And I'm looking in the mirror. And the way the blind spot is, could not see that vehicle. Just wasn't there. Mm-hmm. And got out. The driver of this very large white pickup truck, she got out. And I go running up to her. And my first question is, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm okay. And I'm like, really? It's the most important thing. Nothing else matters. Are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm okay. And it turns out we had a minor chip to one of our lights on the back. She had damage to one of her taillights, which was taped together. So we hit the right light. And we spoke for a few minutes, found out that she's more or less a neighbor.
She was like, if you were going to hit the car of somebody, she was a somebody because she was so mellow and so down to earth. I love what came to mind for you when it first happened, because what came to mind to me, and it shows that I still have some healing to do, was I hope we don't get yelled at. I hope this person doesn't come out yelling and screaming at us.
And my first thought is, are you okay? What can we do to help out? How are things? Then I'm talking between you two. Everybody happy? Everybody okay? We call this good right here. And then I turned to her, of course, and I said, do you do hugs?
I mean, I feel like we made a new friend.
We did. I'm sure we'll see her again. And we really did make a new friend.
And so we're driving away, and did you have to sort of fight your ego at all, or?
No, I felt like something will come out of this. I was watching my energy beforehand. I know my energy wasn't in as good a place as I would like it, but I was actually being observant of it. Rather than going into a woe is me party, I was like, darn, I have no idea why I feel this way. Let's try to understand this. Let's see what we can make of this. And now that I have mold and old moldy oranges on my hands for some rotting fruit I picked up, let's go home and get washed up. But I was going very slowly at the time. And so I was like, I guess I could get different mirrors. You're like, maybe we can have you look. I had looked through the mirrors, but there's something I clearly could have done much better.
I think you mentioned that you were afraid that I was going to yell at you.
I was concerned about that. Well, this car is your baby. and I had just boo-booed your baby.
And you in the past, you've broken many of my things.
It's been a while,
you
hasn't
put
it?
the first scratch into my car.
Oh my God, I did. I did. When you go to fold a tent or whatever you're doing with the tent, don't drop it with the tent poles on top of the hood of the girl's car who you want to marry.
We weren't even dating at that point. I was moving, my tent was already set up, and like I was moving it around, and you're like, oh, do you need help? I'm like, no, I'm fine. And you're like, no, let me help you. And you like grab the tent for me, and then you go and scratch my car with it.
That should have been a sign. Many years of.
I was pretty pissed. Anyway, I think I'm over it now.
Okay, well, that's good. So, but no, other than that, I said, I'm going to look at this. I'm going to learn from this. Is it energetic? I don't think so. What can I learn about the mirror situation? Just made a new friend, but I didn't go to the POS place.
You didn't. And we went to the place of gratitude. At least I was so grateful that the driver of this car was so loving and understanding, and she didn't yell at us.
We had just been talking before it happened about perspective and how it's all about perspective. And I was thinking about that as I drove away. I said, I actually feel better than before this happened. I'm like, now that's wild. That's a mind bender. And it shows just how much perspective matters to everything. And I was coming from a place of gratitude for her vehicle not being in worse shape, place of gratitude for meeting a nice person, place of gratitude for our vehicle not being in bad shape, place of gratitude from not needing to go contact insurance companies and God only knows what.
Yeah.
So, in a sense, I'm driving away going, woohoo, on the inside, like we had won the lottery. That's all about perspective. And that brings it full circle today. It's all about following the energy and what kind of energy can you bring to it. This is all about perspective. We're wiped out. We're wiped out emotionally, physically, financially, everythingly, except for hopefully. And we're back in New Jersey, and we're going, what can we make out of this? What can we do to turn this into the most special thing in the world? I think we did that.
And we are doing it.
Goody.
Woohoo! So should we take some questions?
Let's take some questions.
All right.
It's just about time to wrap up.
Seriously? Oh my gosh. I didn't realize we were talking so long. Okay, I'm scrolling up. Jacob asks, do you guys do subliminals? Do they actually work?
We do. I'm not sure how you're defining subliminals, Jake. We do a lot of different subliminal work, though. And subliminal work, to me, is where the party is at. Because the conscious mind, this I was talking about with Nancy Levin. I was talking about the movie Shawshank Redemption. And repeating affirmations or doing something with a conscious mind is like taking the tiniest little pickaxe and going at that jailhouse wall for 30 or 40 years to get the job done. Versus if you do some of the subliminal work, some of the rewiring on the inside, deep on the inside, you can do it fast. So fast that what happened with Grace Smith and you last month?
Well, we healed some trauma that occurred when I was a kid at the dinner table where I felt squashed. Mm-hmm. And it made this interaction with you on camera much more enjoyable.
Yeah. That was working with Grace Smith, a hypnotherapist and a self-hypnosis expert, on working on some of the subliminal wounds or rewiring under the surface for you. And it worked like that. So yes, subliminal work, huge, 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 huge.
Carla asks, was there a specific author who was most inspirational to you at the beginning?
Wayne Dyer, and Wayne Dyer. Done, slam dunk. I'd gone from Zig Ziglar to Stephen Covey, Tony Robbins, the list goes on and on. Robin Sharma, I loved. All of these guys were helpful, but it really was Wayne Dyer.
Penny asks, Guys, can you tell the story of how you guys met and got married?
Yeah. Do we have the time
That's
to do that now? Or I think that would be another one for another.
Yeah. Well, let's see.
Let's see what the questions look like.
Time there is at the end. Christy asked, do you do any meditative practice together as a couple in order to support your professional growth?
Oh, that is a brilliant question, Christy. You know, we have done some meditation work in the past, particularly gazing.
Eye gazing.
Eye gazing. And now we're doing something separate, but together. We're doing the same meditation separately, kind of gaming it. She's winning. If we were to call it that, I don't consider it a competition, but she's still winning.
Okay.
Because I just don't know how you actually do what you do with it. So we're doing a heart math, heart coherence meditation. We're about 2 months into what I was calling a 30-day challenge. You're using an inner balance device that shows you your heart coherence.
Right.
I'm using an wave device which shows it on the computer, and we're working. I think it's been huge, and to me the biggest thing is it's emptied our buckets.
Mm-hmm.
It's given us more patience,
definitely,
and helped ground us more in the moment.
More resiliency.
And so this isn't a competition thing, but she reaches a much higher level of coherence than I do. And I don't know how she does it. I'm just happy that she's being the trailblazer for the two of us. But we are long-time meditators. And I think that's been huge. The practice of meditation has been huge in getting us where we are today. Wouldn't you say? Meditation been huge?
Definitely. Well, we used to hold space together for hours at a time.
We did. We looked a little disconcerted. Like, why? Why were we doing this for hours at a time? While the business was crumbling.
It was at that point, I think a lot of it was quantity instead of quality. I don't know that. I think a lot of it was dozing off, to be honest.
We do a lot more focused exercises, and that's where automatic writing comes into place too, which is I learned that you can go hang out in a cave all you want, but until you hit a certain level of, we'll call it transcendence, we're not getting the booming voices telling us what we get to do in life. Once we learned as a meditative practice to dive in through automatic writing, which is a practice we do together every day, which is writing in a state of meditation in essence, then we were getting kind of high-level inner wisdom guidance.
Well, we also do those in separate rooms. We're not doing the automatic writing together, but oftentimes the guidance that comes through the writing is about how to treat the other person.
For me, 9 out of 10 times, it's it's saying how to treat myself, relax more, relax more, relax more, take more time for yourself, pause, or more than likely, it's how can I treat you even kinder? How can I treat you with even more love? How can I make this, like if I ask, what's my SMP? What's my single-minded purpose for today? So often it's taking better care of you. So, and I get to do a better job. I hope and believe I do a good job now, but I get to do an even better job.
It goes both ways. That might be one of those things that you could work on for the rest of your life.
I would hope so, because I would hope I can always keep doing better. I hope I don't reach a point where, oh, that's it.
You're ceiling.
Not getting any better treatment out of me. We have a Meowser who's ripping into something. Is it something we need to concern ourselves with, or let him play?
My mind maps.
Your mind maps?
They're old mind maps.
Oh, no. We want to take good care of those.
Okay, I'll be back.
Okay. You'll be back, or I'll be back. I can do this. Superman. I'm out.
No.
Nope. You can't. We can't. She's gone. All right. So let me see what the next question is that we have here, because I love the mind map. So I'm going to try to scroll through over here. And total dedication. Thank you for sharing. Story of marriage subliminals. Do you guys celebrate 911? That's a fascinating question.
Well, I don't think at that point she realized that we were talking about our personal.
Okay. So, all right, what else do we have here? Does sugar keep you alert? No. Rawan, I'll have to learn how to pronounce your name well. But no, sugar does the reverse. I look like I'm a squirrel on caffeine or something like that often. But no, sugar will bring me down. Sugar will bring me up for a few minutes. I'll talk like a chatterbox, and then I'll want to take a nap. I need to go to sleep. So I actually watch how much sugar I have. Used to be neurotic about it, not at all anymore. In fact, we have another birthday cake. I'll put in quotes, nice vegan birthday cake in the fridge as we've been celebrating my birthday for the last month or so. That shirt and the microphone do not work well together. No. So, but I stay away from most sugar because it actually brings me down energetically. You? Mm-hmm. So, do you want to see if there are any other questions? I was to this question. There were no other questions. No other questions. Do we want to go through our story? Do we want to end with our story?
Well, do people want to hear it?
Oh my! Now I have a bias in it, but I have to believe that people want to hear how we met, and that's just based on a history of a lot of people asking how we met. So unless you think people don't want to hear it, and Laura Gibson is yelling, of course, where do we begin?
Well, I had been living in Boulder, Colorado for 2 weeks.
Yep. For all of 2 weeks.
I was searching for a spiritual community because that's where I lived before. I was part of a community. I was very involved. Yep. I was living with them. It's a whole nother story. And a friend recommended that I go check out the Boulder Shambhala Center.
And I had been nursing wounds or diving deep, depending how you call it, for about 3 years after a breakup with a then fiance, and had wanted nothing to do with dating, was out in the woods, was meditating, was doing a lot of the inner work, thought I had my core wounds healed. But I had felt it was time to get out of the woods, or had felt a calling that it was time. I kept saying, I'm going to go to Japan. I'm going to either meet somebody and go to Japan, or I'm going to go to Japan and learn about Shintoism and Buddhism and become a monk over there. And since that wasn't working out at around January at the start of that year, I said, you've got to come out of the woods, time to make peace with where you are at. And just open yourself up to community, open yourself up here. And so I started looking for a meditation center. And who knows, maybe I was already calling you in, but because I was doing my manifestation work, I was doing it each evening. Kind of seems weird now, kind of creepy.
Well, I have an issue with the calling me in. Like, I didn't have any say in the matter. I was just
you just heard quit what you're doing and get to Boulder because you're going to be Michael's slave. Not quite what I'm saying, but anyway.
It felt like how it was for the first few years.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So fast forward. Found Shambhala Center, been looking at different places, found Shambhala Center, had been there for about a month, was meditating there twice a day, every day. Was the only person dedicated or crazy enough to be doing that, but just felt there was going to be community there. I was going to meet somebody there, but I also felt it was important for my spiritual growth. And I was putting that first. I figured whoever I meet has to be on the same path as me. That's why I want to meet them working on my spiritual side. Mm-hmm. I knew you're cracking up. Go for it.
Well, no, it's just funny. You go to a meditation center to pick up women.
It wasn't the point. I wasn't going there going.
Surprised you didn't.
Your cushion or mine.
Sign up to start yoga or something.
Can you picture me doing yoga?
You would get better over time.
I used to be really good at Pilates. I can be very centered. I would like to do yoga in the future. But not because I'm not that flexible. I don't think I'd be good at yoga, but I just haven't taken the time to invest in it yet. So I think over time it'll be cool.
Okay. Anyway.
You tangented us there.
So I go to the Boulder Shambhala Center on an afternoon. I don't remember.
I think it was a Wednesday. Maybe it was a Tuesday.
It was 5 p.m. But I was late.
It was 5:10. It was 5 p.m. on 5/10. I remember the day.
Oh, okay. I thought you remembered the time. I'm like, wow.
But I know I probably had gotten there. I wasn't leading the meditation holding space that day. So I probably got there at like 5:02, 5:03, just a bit after they started. And then you came in not too much longer, I'm guessing.
I don't know, because I missed the beginning. Anyway, I'm standing in the doorway. I'm in the space where you take off your shoes and you leave your belongings. And I see Michael seated straight in front of me in lotus position with a very good posture. And he's in his cycling clothes and he's got a ponytail. And I'm thinking, oh, that's so Boulder, like hippie athlete meditating. And I don't think anything else of him.
But you go and sit the other way, far across the room.
Yes, because I wasn't there to pick up men. I was going for safety. And I think there was like one other person in the room.
And so I opened up my eyes at the end of the meditation. I didn't have my glasses on, and you were just a blur. I think like a black blur. I think you were dressed in black mainly.
Yeah, all my clothes were black because I was, prior to moving to Boulder, I was trained to become a deacon and then a priest, and I would have worn all black.
Which explains it. And I didn't know who or what you were across the room, but I knew you were the one. And it was exciting and freaky and scary. And my social, which you will say is not.
You're backing up. Come back here. Are you scared?
No, it was the knees. We had the knees against each other and you pulled your knee back. My introverted nature, which there is one, started to come out. And I'm going, if she's the one, and there's this part of me that's worried about screwing things up. If she is the one, then the best thing I can do is to say nothing.
So after the meditation, we're in the space gathering our belongings. I get my stuff. I've got a bicycle helmet in my hands because I rode my bike there. And Michael walks up to me without a word.
Yep.
He points at his helmet.
Yep.
And then he points at my helmet.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, okay. Then he bows. And then he turns. And he dashes away.
I bolted. I didn't say a word. I was out of there. If you know she's the one and you're worried about what you're going to say, you might think the best thing to say is not. I don't think I would act that way anymore in life. I think I was running from myself or something at that point. It probably spoke volumes about some of the work that I got to do in the future.
I don't know. I assumed you wouldn't have that kind of situation arise ever again.
No, if you run into, well, like there was a podcast yesterday on a different one on Sir Elton John or Sir Paul McCartney. He's been knighted.
Okay.
If I ran into Paul McCartney, would I be tongue-tied? I don't think at this point I would.
I don't think so.
But in the past, I might have been too nervous to speak. One of my greatest heroes was Greg LeMond. I was scared to speak to him when I saw him in Belgium. And then Eric Heiden, who was he was like a 7-time gold medalist speed skater. Mm-hmm. He became the team doctor for the 7-Eleven racing team in Europe. And when I went up to Eric Heiden at a race in Belgium, I was so scared to speak. I was there as a racer. I was so scared to speak. I had my bicycle. I couldn't say anything. And he ended up turning to another teammate and said, watch this guy. I want to make sure he doesn't steal any of our bikes.
Yeah.
So that's how, I don't know what the term is, far I've come with that. Anyway, we have really tangented here. So I bowed, I ran, I didn't say anything, but the story continues.
And so from that display, I assumed that you weren't allowed to speak until after leaving the building. I thought you're supposed to maintain your silence.
Yes.
After the meditation, so I didn't speak to anybody else. Some more people had arrived by that point. Fast forward to the next day. Mm-hmm. I went back in the morning for the morning sit because I was used to meditating with a group morning and evening.
And nobody other than me would be there morning and evening. And I was sitting and I sensed your presence. And it was an oh crap moment. And I went from meditating to, oh, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? What am I going to say? Oh my God, what am I going to say? I got to say something. I got to say something. I got to say something. And my mind is going nuts. I'm going, you're going to have to speak with her this time, Michael. And then ding, the meditation ends. And I go right back to, if I stay here long enough, she'll go and I won't have to say anything. I'm embarrassed that I really was that way, but I was. Mm-hmm. And so you left, and then eventually I left, and I went, I think, down the hall and down the stairs.
And by this point, I'm hearing other people having conversations, mm-hmm. and I'm wanting to join in on a conversation, but nobody's like acknowledging my existence. Nobody's even looking at me. Nobody's making eye contact. I keep looking at people, but they keep looking away or looking at each other. Nobody's paying attention to me. And then it seems like everyone's left. So I'm in this hall, I'm reading the bulletin boards, trying to learn about the Shambhala Center and what they're all about. And suddenly I see Michael walking down the hall.
You spoke first.
Yeah, because you were actually making eye contact.
And I was going to speak. This time I was.
You were looking at me. I'm like, hello. So happy that somebody acknowledged my existence.
Oh, Pookie. And so we spoke and we went outside, and I think they locked us out. We sat on the stairs for about 3 hours talking. And I think I probably spoke to the birds at one point during that.
Yeah, there were some crows that landed on the building or on the treetops.
And to me, they were saying, she's the one. And I turned up to them and I said, I know. And you saw that I was talking to the birds.
And I thought that was kind of weird because I didn't do that back then, but now I do.
And then you mentioned that, and I saw it on a gentleman's jersey today. He was riding along with an elephant rock jersey on today. Uh-huh. And you mentioned
I was training for a long bicycle ride, a 4-day bicycle ride. Yeah.
And I said that I'd been a professional level cyclist. I don't know. Did you ask me if I could train you?
No.
I offered to train.
Yes. Ah. And I was thinking, oh, free training from a former pro.
And
that was your in.
That was my in. And I think it was 4 days later, we were doing the elephant rock together. So was your mom in town there then, or was it the next weekend?
She was there. She was there.
So, and that was, well, it took 3.5 weeks. We don't have to give the whole story here. Of 3.5 weeks of I will not date you. I will not date you. I will show you everybody on Match.com who I'm going to date. That is not you, but I will not date you.
Yes, because I could read you like an open book. And you had a lot of baggage.
And I said, I don't have any baggage. I'm pure. I'm good. I got it going on.
I'm completely
I'm Snow White.
I'm like, no.
So, and you hung in there.
But it was meant to be.
Mm-hmm. Or as you like to say, you were
conscripted?
Conscripted.
You use that word, actually.
No, I think you've used it too. You said it wasn't by choice.
Yeah, but I've never used the word conscripted until today.
Gotcha.
Anyway.
All right. So is there anything else? Oh, no. Somebody asked, is the elephant rock a metaphor? No, it is not.
Wow.
Elephant rock.
I don't even know what that looks like.
Yeah, don't even visualize. It's a 100-mile bike ride from Castle Rock, Colorado, that which has something like 5,000 or 10,000 cyclists in it. That we were doing only 3 or 4 days later as training and as a bonding experience. And I got to meet your ex-boyfriend there as well.
Yeah.
Only 3 or 4 days later.
Yeah.
So I got to meet your mom right away, your ex-boyfriend right away.
Uh-huh.
So all worked out.
So Jacob has some questions.
All right. We usually are supposed to be done for coaching. I have a little spare time here. We'll call it a few minutes of spare time, seeing as this is we just passed the Good Buddhist 108 mark here. But Jacob, I would say hit me, but I'll never use that term anymore. So go ahead, give me a few of your questions. What do we have?
Do you think people listen to too much self-help sometimes?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Our cups are running over. This is from somebody who makes a living out of self-help, but I think you can get very bad spiritual indigestion by listening to too much self-help. Good to raise your energy, But what you don't want to do is get in the listening rather than taking action state. And being, a state of being is a state of taking action. What happens is we often get addicted to listening to idea after idea after idea without taking action on ourselves, or without feeling we're ready to take action, or even feeling we're overwhelmed and not sure where to start. So the trick with self-help is any one tool used on a regular basis, if it feels good to you, because it's all about the energy, it's all about that alignment. Any one tool used on regularity can make a massive difference in your life. And it's way too easy to get totally overwhelmed by too much information. If you listen on a daily basis, it's great as long as you're not trying to take action on everything that you hear. It can be entertaining, it can be inspiring and uplifting, but you don't want to drown yourself, like getting 10 or 20 books and saying, oh, I've got to fix myself and do this. First off, you don't need to fix anything. We can always improve ourselves. We can grow and learn, but there's nothing that needs to be fixed. So we can get overwhelmed by our books that we haven't done, by the exercises that we haven't done. And then self-help becomes another opportunity for your ego to tell you why you're less than. And that's exactly the opposite of what we want to do. So a brilliant question.
Don't you think people need to release negative energy, though, to be positive?
Ooh, that's an awesome, awesome question. That also gets back to subliminal. So negative releases are huge. Do we need to? I've never thought about it in that terms. That's an excellent question. Yes, I guess the answer is yes. We often have anger, sadness, all sorts of emotions inside of ourselves that we are stuffed down with our society, because ever since we were kids, we were taught you're not allowed to talk about that stuff. We do need to get that up and out, and we do get to rewire or defuse, like diffusing a bomb. We get to rewire or remove the energetic, what would be the word for it? Remove the tripwires of negativity that are inside of us. So energetic clearing work, emotion code, tapping. I have an exercise called Better Out Than In, of writing things down and tearing it up and being done with it. There's so many things that we want to do to start to get rid of the negative patterns that are inside of us, of the emotional wounds, of the emotional blocks. And then we have made space for that positivity to come in. Can we start working on positivity right away? Yes. But we may find we still shoot ourselves in the foot until we do the deeper work. Anything else, or are we good?
Can you share about the manifestation masterclass?
Oh, yes. So we have the most awesome class in the world. I'm totally biased. The most awesome class in the world coming up in just a few short weeks, our manifestation masterclass. It's only for 15 people. We've had a bunch of people on the wait list already, so we're going to be filling very quickly for this. This is kind of law of attraction meets group intention meets group coaching. It's an opportunity for you to find where your purpose, where your path, where your direction is for now. It always changes in life. But then to come up with a plan and to be on fire, working in a group environment to help you get there. The simplest, easiest way possible, or what I call kind, gentle, easy, good. You learn a new tool each week in a super simple to use fashion. This is really simple and easy to follow along with. It's live. You can ask your questions. You can share about where you're at in life. You can get advice for others. We're going to do meditations together at the end, group intention setting meditations to help raise your vibration and to help you achieve your dreams. And we're going to look at all of the law of attraction pieces that work. I've had over 800 guests on the show. Some tools work better than others. And if you watch The Secret, you've been given half or a quarter of the information on how to actually use this stuff. We're going to teach you how to use it so it actually works. But as I had Tosha Silver on the show today talking about allowance and what's the word for it on top of allowance? Letting the universe drive the ship. We're going to talk about how to go from your mind to your heart so that you can truly get in alignment for your highest good and the highest good of all. 12 weeks, super high power, but good for introverts too. Nobody's put on the spot, but it is going to be an incredible group intention, group coaching program to help you get on fire in your life and get you on track and where you want to go. I cannot speak highly enough about it. We've never built anything this special before. I don't think anything's been done like this before. And I think it's going to be a true life changer. Anything you want to add on it?
It includes access to all 3 online courses.
Yes.
So automatic writing, magical morning routine,
yep,
and the upcoming magical evening routine.
It does. And we'll be working one-on-one with the both of us. So we are personally going to be there hand in hand with you, helping you get wherever it is you want to go. And that does include overcoming negative blocks. It does include helping you get to a more positive place. It does include something Jessica is looking at me like you want to say.
Group intention work.
I'm looking forward to that. So Lynn McTaggart has talked about a group of 8 work, 8 people or more getting together and getting in a meditative state, and special things happen for the people in the group. And we're going to be doing it with the 15, 16, 17 of us together, including Jessica and myself. And when we do this and when we set intention together and when we get in heart coherence together, watch out, because it is an amplifier for whatever you want to bring into your life. And that is part of the reason I am so incredibly excited about it. And we get to use the tools that have been working, not just every tool, not an overwhelming amount of tools, but the tools that have been working in coaching, in group coaching, in our programs. And out of all of our guests, I've picked what I am personally using the most, what we are personally using the most, and that's what we're going to teach. So InspireNationUniversity.com, you can go to find out more about that. And we're going to have more in future weeks on our Magical Evening Routine program coming out, but we're going to take one thing at a time. I am guessing this class is going to fill super, 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 super fast. I wish we could take more than 15. Right now, 15 is the most that I think we know how to work with on a one-on-one basis, in a sense, at one time. Maybe in the future we can open up to more. So it's kind of a first come, first serve. If you're excited about this, if it strikes you, if this excites you, if your heart either skips a beat or you feel the flutter in the belly, come on over to InspireNationUniversity.com. You can find out more and you can sign up for it. Only other thing I have to share is we are 100% supported by you, our audience. So first off, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you love what you're hearing, if you'd like more, if you want to support the show, become a member of the Backstage family or become a member of the Inspire Nation family. Get a Backstage pass. That means just go over to patreon.com, patron.com/Inspire Nation. Become a member of the family. You'll get almost daily videos. We've been working on our whole IT here. So almost daily videos are words of wisdom or daily wows. Plus, you'll have opportunities to win books and other great prizes. We love to give stuff away. And it is just an opportunity to interact with us, to support the show, and for us to give back to you, our audience, as well. I can't thank you enough for supporting the show, for watching the show, for taking action on your own life. If you weren't doing the work, we wouldn't have a show. So keep up the great work. Step by step, realize you're perfect just as you are. You are loved just as you are. You couldn't be less than. You came from love. You are loved. You couldn't be less than love, no matter how much you try. And realize, above and beyond all else, you have everything you need right inside of yourself. It's just a matter of loving yourself, doing a little bit of the work, and stepping forward into the most amazing person you already are. Anything you want to add to that? We send all our love. 3-year anniversary. I can't believe it's been 3 years. Can you believe it's been 3 years? Do you want to do what we do at the end of a group coaching class?
Not really.
Not really? You don't want to do 10 woohoos?
You can't. It's not the same when we can't
It's not
hear
the same
them.
when we can't hear people. All right. Do you want to give me at least one woohoo? Let's do 3 woohoos. Woohoo! Woohoo! One more. Woohoo! Carla says, show photos of the wedding.
They're upstairs.
There's some attached to the wall. Do we really want to run to a wall?
I can run to a wall.
She's running to a wall.
Keep talking.
Keep talking. Fill the space. Jessica is going. She's running to the other room. So where did we get married? We got married just outside of Boulder, Colorado. We were in the barefoot running mode. So we got married on an organic cabbage farm. We got married barefoot. We tried to get all of our guests barefoot. It was almost snowing outside. So people were cold. So not everybody was barefoot. They said, be careful and don't trip, whatever noises I'm hearing there. And I think we actually did something really weird. I don't know where they are now. I think it's in storage in California. We did foot tracings of everybody. Yeah. But they had real fun with that.
I think that we have those here.
Oh, we have those here?
I'm not going to go get those.
No. All right. Here is us running barefoot in the cabbage patch field. Let's see. I think that's the closest. Maybe I can get in.
No, that's a dirt.
Oh, that's the dirt path. Okay. And here is a posed image of me dragging Jessica.
That's unrealistic because I would always be in front.
Ooh, true though. Very, very true. A faster runner than me. Oh, that is the sweetest photo. I think there's reflection in it. And you can see our feet. Or at least my feet on the cabbage patch field. Not that that's important. So, all right. I think that's it.
Okay.
We've done our little show and tell for now. We send all our love to everybody there. Have the most amazing evening ahead, week ahead. If you are on the East Coast, I want to end this on a positive note, but I want to send all our love and blessings your way. Everywhere has been faced with natural disasters over this year. So really our prayers and thoughts and hopes go out to everybody. But seeing as we just moved from North Carolina and it's in the direct path of Florence, which we're hoping makes this beautiful turn out to sea, we send all our love. And what is Jessica saying? You guys feel like family. You guys do feel like family. Everybody who's been joining us on our calls, you are family. I just want you to know this. You are our family, and we can't wait to see you next week and can't wait to have you at a future retreat. Something Jessica has been chomping at the bits. Maybe Costa Rica, maybe Point South, maybe even Colorado in the future. All right. Be well. Shine bright. Woo-hoo. We love you guys.
Good night, everyone, or good morning.
I love you, Pookie. You did great.